Hello there, my name is Kuma, and today we are taking a close look at Lutonada.
涙をこぼしてしまわないように私に行かせてください。私ならできます。みんなの命は私が守ります。
This beautiful little Zalak is a new 4-star. Usually we get them together with chapter releases, but since chapter 14 will have a lot of operators already, Hypergriff decided to release her one event early, in Babel. Lutonada is a Juggernaut, the 4th member in this class. Juggernauts are peculiar. They are defenders with lower defense than protectors, and they have offensive tools in their kits that can deal some nice damage. But, and this is a big deal, they cannot be healed. They are what we call enmity operators. Enmities always have some way of healing themselves to compensate for the impossibility of being healed by someone else. Mushas, for example, another class of enmity operators, heal with their trait, a little bit of HP on each attack they hit. Juggernauts, on the other hand, vary depending on the operator. Each of them has their own way of doing it. But today we are only looking at Lutonada. She heals when an enemy she is blocking dies. This is very similar to how Estelle works. But there is a difference, and it's not only on the numbers, although they are also different. Estelle heals 18% of her max HP when an enemy dies, and Lutonada heals 22% of her max HP. Although Estelle heals a little bit less per enemy, she can heal when enemies die in any of her 8 surrounding tiles, and Lutonada only heals when she is blocking the enemy before it dies. Very important distinction to keep in mind. Of course, Lutonada's kit tries to make up for this difference, but it's very nuanced. Let me show you. Her skill 2 is, of course, the star of the show, although I do like her S1 more because I am a big fan of power strikes. We will get there. Lutonada's S2 pulls enemies towards her to facilitate blocking so that she can heal more. If you have some ranged enemies trying to bully Lutonada, she can just pull them towards her and guarantee some healing when they die. But it's very important to keep in mind that this skill has a pull force of 0, and it does not increase with masteries. So Lutonada won't help herself against anything that weighs 2 or more, and you should keep this in mind when playing with her, because managing healing on enmity operators is more important than you would initially expect. That said, we can see the rest of her skill. And breaking more expectations, this is not a big damage skill. Juggernauts always have offense and defense on their kits, but it's been more common to see the defensive skill not be the last skill in their kits. If you look at their skills, you will see what I mean. Vulcan has a clear distinction with her S1 being a defender skill and her S2 being damage. Madrock has a generic defense up skill on her S1, but her S3 also gives a lot of defense, although the focus on that skill is the attack. Penance's S2 has a 60% Sanctuary effect. Sanctuary is damage reduction, while her S3 simply hits like a truck. And Lutonada, unlike the others, got her defensive skill on her S2. She gains 130% defense, the same buff Kuora has on her S2, and she deals 100% of her attack as arts damage every 2 seconds. We'll talk about the damage numbers in a minute, but I want you to see what this defense means for Lutonada. Of course, she won't be as tanky as Kuora or Bubble, because on top of the defense increase they got from their skills, their talents are also defensive. Kuora has more defense in her talent, and Bubble lowers enemy attack, so they are geared 100% towards tanking, while Lutonada has to try and sustain herself with her talent, because she can't heal herself otherwise. So in practice, this means Lutonada will die when facing massive threats that you would be able to tank otherwise, not because she can't survive the hits individually, but because you won't be able to bring her HP back up in between them. Unless, of course, you can heal her back up. There are certain regen effects in the game capable of healing enmity operators, like the regen tiles you can rarely find in stages. You can use Perfumer's or Angelina's talent, they heal everyone deployed. All bards can heal them just by being inside their range. Of course, some bards are better at this than others. Skadialter is great pairing for enmities because she can constantly heal a decent amount of HP with her S2. Sora's S1 is a good support for Lutonada, believe it or not. With it, you can bring her HP to max while stopping all the enemies in their tracks for a few seconds. And I'm sure there are lots of other regen effects that you can use to your advantage. And if you do that, you could face enemies you wouldn't really expect, like the Blood Knight, a big boss I did not expect to see Lutonada surviving. But it makes sense when you think about it, because he deals damage to a single operator very slowly, even though each individual hit is very strong. So Lutonada having her S2 and all the defense it brings together with all the regen you can provide, ends up creating a good situation for her, because you have the time to heal her back up in between each Blood Knight hit. Now I'm sure you want to hear about her damage, so I will tell you about it. Since I told you Lutonada's S2 is her defensive skill, you should expect the damage to be low. Less because I told you so, and more because it really is. With a 100% of her attack being dealt every 2 seconds, you have half of her attack being her DPS. It ends up being 395 DPS when she is fully maxed. Of course, it is important to remember the range of the skill being her 8 surrounding tiles, the damage being arts, and the original idea behind this skill. This damage is low because you are not supposed to kill anything big with Lutonada's S2. Lutonada will pull small enemies towards her, then she will deal a very small amount of damage to them, just to guarantee those small enemies die after she blocks them, so that she can heal herself. You shouldn't try to play with Lutonada's S2 alone. In most cases, she will be your defender, and she will want a damage dealer deployed with her, to actually kill enemies. A fair comparison here is Durnar, who can solo lanes in some occasions, and has about double Lutonada's DPS on her S2, when we consider a single enemy for both. But to deal that much more damage, Durnar sacrifices her defenses. That's what Arts Protectors do. She only has attack increases in her skills. And of course, Durnar would perform worse than Lutonada if you're facing a crazy amount of enemies, because Durnar can only target 3 at a time, while Lutonada has true AoE and is capable of hitting unlimited enemies all at once. So while you can deal more damage with Durnar and is capable of healing her, Lutonada is able to tank bigger hits as long as you can provide regen fast enough and deal with bigger waves of small enemies. And this aspect of how Lutonada plays really brings forth the importance of her module. Something I will explain to you after we have a look at the mystery enemy. The mystery enemy from last video was Herald! Congratulations to you who got it right. Herald isn't that big of a deal if you play him properly, as you can see in his stats, but you have to interact with his stage mechanics for this to be the case. Otherwise, you will be facing damage reduction and a massive attack modifier if you try blocking him. The mystery enemy for the next video is on screen right now. Write your guesses in the comments down below, and let's go back to Lutonada. As I was saying, Lutonada's module is very important because it fits so well with what she wants and needs. Her healing per enemy kill goes from 18% to 22%, which sounds small, but considering the module also gives her max HP, in actual numbers, it goes from 711 to 946 healing. This is not a 4% healing increase, it's a 33% healing increase, per enemy killed while blocked by her. Now we should talk a bit about her S1. I love power strikes. Even though this is a generic power strike, I still like it a lot. I won't lie to you though, I am sad that the damage skill of our 4-star Juggernaut ended up being a generic S1. They are a flashy class, and I wouldn't be mad to see some more spice in her kit. But it is what it is, and we should look at the positives. With this skill, Lutonada can actually hold a lane on her own, as long as nothing too scary comes along. Since her healing per kill is so high and she already has the base defenses of a defender, having a power strike is great when paired with her 790 base attack. She might even be able to hold some lanes with enemies who are a little bit chunkier, but not too much though. She will still need help when playing with her S1. She is still, after all, a 4-star defender. She might have a power strike, but she won't have as much DPS as an anti-air sniper, for example. Jessica and Mei both have power strikes in their S1, but they have a lot more DPS than Lutonada. Lutonada has about 650 DPS, while Jessica has 940 and Mei has 904. This is mostly because of her attack interval being 1.6 seconds compared to the 1 second of the anti-air snipers. But even with her downsides, this still opens great opportunity for integrated strategies. Always remember that in IS-5, 4 stars will cost 0 hope to recruit. Having a defender option in IS who can deal some damage is great, especially if the damage comes from a powerstrike, a skill that is so easy to buff. ASPD, attack up, always good in the land of the powerstrikes. Of course, it's not a solution for every run, especially for starting out, she is not great. 30 to 32 is too high of a DP cost, at least in IS-4 where blocking is good in the first floor. I also want to mention a little bit of the other game modes we have. In Reclamation Algorithm, Lutonada will do exactly what you would expect. She can clear the massive waves of small enemies the mode throws at you, but she will leave all elites alive together with the lag. And for resource gathering, she is just a block 3 operator, nothing special. And in Triple S, it's a lot more awkward having a melee operator who you cannot heal than in the rest of the game, since the stats on the enemies scale so quick. You can slip by if the melee operator has enough damage to simply kill everything, but that's not how it goes for Lutonada, even with a max attack stack. Overall, I'm happy with our new 4-star. I'm just a little bit sad Hash 2 is the defensive skill, it feels a bit out of place for her class. But now, I want to hear from you! What do you think of Lutonada? Do you like her? Do you love her? Tell me in the comments down below. And don't forget to like the video. I hope everyone has a very nice day. Peace out!